Hi, welcome to the coaching game. I am Laurie Lawson, and the lovely lady beside me is Terry
Teriyaki
Yoffe.
and
Hey, Terry.
Teriyaki, and welcome to Coaches Creating Change. I just love that name, Coaches Creating Change.
Yes.
Everybody should be creating change, not just us.
And
As a
my
side note,
no, but by creating, we mean you created. God knows there's enough change going on, but you should be creating your own, and
mm,
and getting what you want. And that's kind of what we wanted. We figured we would talk about today. Seeing I can't believe we're in the middle of the year. It's like, where did the time go?
mm,
And
and
it's like, yeah. And Terry was saying, well, I wonder, did everybody get done what they wanted to get done? So, what was your thought on that, Terry?
it's the middle of the year. The summer solstice, I think, comes up on the 20th,
Hmm. Friday.
right? And I was thinking about the first half of the year is gone. What if we look back, did we make any New Year's resolutions?
No.
Did we say, I'm going to fill in the blanks? And here we are 6 months later. And what happened? Did we succeed in reaching some of those desires, those goals, those successes? Or alternatively, did we look back and say, didn't happen, couldn't make it happen, too many things got in the way, all the usual suspects uh, of not doing.
Yeah, I always like when people go, "Oh, I was gonna do that, but blah blah blah." Life gets in the way. That's the reality, you know. You can't predict everything that's going to happen, and sometimes you just have to put off, postpone, cancel even what you had planned. So yeah, I think I love that. What resolution? No, we wanted to use the word intentions. I remember that from our January show. What intentions did you have at the beginning of the year? And how close are you to reaching whatever intention you had? And if you haven't evaluated that, now might be a good time because you still have another half a year to get going on
Right.
it. So,
Or maybe they changed.
yes.
I think if one has an intention and they really want to see that intention come to fruition,
Mhm.
they have to figure out a way to make it happen. Yes, life gets in the way, things get in the way for all of us. Yet it's about structuring yourself and your time to meet those intentions because it's about us. If we have an agreement with ourselves that this is what we want and we don't do it, then we start negotiating as to why it didn't happen. And the mind is very good at negotiating. And for ourselves, we're disappointed that we didn't create the intention we wanted. And
Definitely. Yeah.
so,
That is disappointing, but it can also be inspiring. Because yes, it was nice to say, okay, by June, the end of June, I'm going to be 10 pounds lighter. And you're not. And that was nice to say. But I think, and we can make excuses. My goodness, this has been a year of chaos and a lot of people are running and trying to figure out where am I fitting in and all this insanity. Um, but rather than make the excuses that Terry was talking about, we can use that as evaluative data. It's like, okay, why? Why am I not 10 pounds lighter? Like you said, Terry, maybe the goal changed. It's like, you know what, 5 and I fit into that great outfit. What do I care? 5 is good. Or stuff got in the way, and it's like, and it didn't become a priority. I find that if you have an intention, the best way to make sure that it has to be a priority. And sometimes, priorities get piled on top of each other, and yours
That's
is way down here now. It's like, what happened, So, yeah.
and that's part of the issue.
Hmm.
Our priorities get, for ourselves, our intentions get moved to the bottom of the list because all this other stuff piles up.
Yes.
And also, intention is how you structure your day. We all have a day. How do you get up? How do you set the tone for the day? If client A hypothetically really needs you and it wasn't planned, then what can you move around to accommodate client A if you can? And it becomes a chess game of the moves that you make each day. And you do it with intention and thought and not being a whirly bird, if you will, which a lot of us are, that our day goes, oops, it's the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, and what I find is what I am starting to coach around is not having the mind be the feeding frenzy of your life, because the mind will grasp everything that's in its way. It's a feeding frenzy. It's the emails, it's the TikTok, it's social media, it's this. And that's what it does. It just globs on. And how do you start to stop the feeding frenzy?
Well, I was going to ask you that question. How do you, if you don't have your mind doing it, how do you start your day? How do you, and I have an intention for every day. It's like, and you don't have to do that, but my intention is I kind of know what I need to get done.
Right,
And
exactly.
the intention that goes under my priority list is my well-being. That comes like, oh, I got to get this done and this done. And then it's like, oh, my well-being's down here. Really should be up
Right,
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, well-being, perfect example,
Yeah.
because that should be the priority.
Yeah.
However, when you look at well-being, what does that mean?
Mm.
What does that look like? Is it your health? Yes. Is it taking care of yourself? Yes. That's a priority and should be. What
Yeah.
has happened to me is I started studying Buddhism and spiritual journey in my 30s. And I've been on that path, except I veered off for a while. And now I find I have a routine in the morning. I get up now. I used to drink coffee first, as I was telling you. I now drink water. I move my body around. I have a little protein, and then I meditate. I take an hour or so and meditate. I don't go to my phone immediately. I used to get up, go to my emails, go to my phone, scroll. What do they need from me? Blah, blah, blah. I don't do that anymore. I come first. And what's important for me to start my day. From that point, I'm calmer. My day runs a lot smoother. And I feel better because I have a lot of vestibular issues, and that can get in my way. So I have to work around it. But there has been such a shift in me from having a morning routine and going to bed at night. I listen to some meditation. I close the day. I think about my intention for the next day. And I try to go to bed not thinking about the problems of that day. So I have restructured my life. I'm much calmer. I'm not running around like a crazy person. That's my 2 cents.
I love it. Yeah, no, I can actually see a difference. I'm impressed with meditation for an hour. I have been doing, this is not my idea, but I'm following. There's Hal Elrod has a book called The 60-Minute Miracle, Morning
Mm-hmm.
Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing this for 1,726 days, which I don't even want to figure out. That's a long time. And I don't do it on the weekends. And he has this acronym and of savers. It's like, okay, what you do is it's supposed to be 10 minutes. I cut it down to five on each one, but 5 minutes of silence, 5 minutes of affirmation, 5 minutes of visualization, which I'm going to lump under meditation. That's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes, let's see, what are we on? E, exercise. I extend that a little bit. 5 minutes of reading, and then I think he couldn't find anything else. So he says scribing, which is when I
Right.
write in a journal, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
much. That's how I know how many days
Mm-hmm.
I've done it
I
because I
know
just
him
wrote it
well.
this morning. You know
Mm-hmm.
him, yeah. What amazing! And it supposedly comes out to half an hour. It's about 45 minutes. Just for yourself before you get started. And before you look at the emails and before you answer phone calls and work
Right.
out projects and go, oh my gosh, I got to review this thing with a client. Just take a little time and, you know, give to yourself what's going to get you through today because not everybody, and in fact, I'm going to go, most people
Mhm.
are not going to replace the energy you extend out. So it's kind of up to you to do that. And then it's also up to you to know your limitation. Okay, am I tipped out? Have I had it at 4 o'clock? Okay, I'm not going to try to do anything else. Or can I go till 8 o'clock? Yeah, maybe. But it all depends on what you give yourself. I mean, sometimes we have clients that they give us back, and they're great gifts. But that's not always the case. It's like most of the time we're out there giving everything we have. And so it's good to get yourself filled up to the top right in the morning, and then you can dole out
Exactly.
energy and minds and all that
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's taking time for yourself. I work out now a couple of days a week. I have a trainer this afternoon. I do something on Fridays. I got to figure something, one or two other things. I just take care of myself. I take care of my outer, I take care of my inner.
Mhm.
So I show up as the best version of myself.
And how does that get you closer to your intention?
It is my intention. If that's my intention
Okay.
every day,
hmm
it shows up with maybe my clients, maybe what my intentions are for the rest of the year, right? Clients, doing collaborations with people, getting on back on a stage because I just did a speaker school
Mm.
and leveling up. It doesn't matter how old you are. I'm I've had 8 decades on this planet, six working, and we're never too old or too late to do what we want. Never. But people have that. So it's figuring out what can I bring to the world, to my corner of the world,
Mhm.
to inspire. Because we're at a point where, of the, I don't want to say elder, but I don't mean elder old, that has wisdom, that has knowledge, that understands the working world, personal world, our challenges, our struggles. My gosh, so many people are looking to hear this.
I love that you said that you're never too old, but sometimes the people get the feeling that, oh, you know what, why bother? I'm in my 60s, I'm in my 70s, 80s. um that is, I think you can turn that around and go, if not now, when are you going to do this? It's like, and if you don't totally succeed, at least you've moved a little bit forward to what you wanted to do. Like, I always said, maybe I should have learned to play the piano. I still can't, but I could try if I wanted to. And it doesn't mean I'm going to have a concert at Carnegie Hall, but it means I'm going to accomplish something that I always wanted to do.
Right.
And I gave it to myself. I didn't wait for it to come along. So you can, like Terry says, I remember we all used to be very secretive about our age, and it's like, oh, we don't look younger, and we don't want people to know how old. Terry's right out there telling everybody now. It's like, I am this age, and get over it. I've got so much to give. I've collected all this along the way. I've got wisdom that you probably don't have. I'm glad to share it. And so I think it's a matter of reframing a lot of the excuses you make and a lot of the barriers that you put up. It's like, if you have a barrier, try to turn it around and go, how could this work for me? That's what Terry did with the aging thing. And I think she's so busy now, I can't keep up with her. She's just running around and doing all kinds of cool things. And I think that's what you have to do. It's like, if you think, I think when you say I can't do it, okay, ask yourself why. And then reframe it. It's like, well, how can this help me do it?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think part of it is societal norms,
Mm,
which I never ever bought into any of them. Got married at 20, have 2.5 kids,
right.
work at 65, retire, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's, play pickleball, play mahjong, play canasta, do tennis, do whatever. What I have found with a lot of people that have retired, they go downhill. They're
Yeah.
not using their minds as much. Um, my husband retired 2.5 years ago. He's a workaholic
Mm,
because he had his company buy him out. He didn't want to be there. And even he designs computer systems. He's in his room in the morning designing his own computer systems. But later on, he's like, what do I do? He doesn't have a hobby. He's
mm.
trying to figure out where to fit in. Luckily, he does a little work with me, but it's, I see it with so many people, and nothing wrong with that if that's what you're going to choose. But are you choosing it because you truly want to, or are you choosing it because that's what you were told, rather than what can I do next? How can I level up? What from my past can I call forward? For me, it's speaking. I used to talk a lot to people on stages, and that's what I wanted to get back to. Different messaging, different time frame, and that's what I've done. So you have to look inside and see what's your calling. Do you have a purpose? Because we all do in some form or another. What haven't you done that you really want to do? Maybe start a baking school. Maybe start a sewing group. It doesn't have to be big. Get together with friends and read a book and talk about the book. something that ignites a flame.
Yeah, I always say when you retire, you suddenly become the CEO of your life. When you're working, you have someone telling you what you need to do. It may be one person, it may be a group of people, but when you retire, hey, you're the CEO. You get to decide whatever it is that, is going to speak to your heart. It doesn't necessarily have to be like Terry says, what people tell you, you should golf and you should take a cruise. And if that's for you, good, have a great time. But I think that most of us need that purpose. And what you can bring to it is all your years of experience. And now think of all the techniques you've learned how to survive. I mean, if you're still here and you are in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, then you have, oh boy, have you survived a bunch of stuff. And look at all those techniques you have. Now you can turn them onto whatever it is that you want to get going now because they're going to help you get there. I am giving a friend of mine for their birthday. They keep mentioning things about they want to learn how to sew. They are interested in photography, and so I'm giving them all gifts that do that. There's a New York sewing center around, so I'm going to give them a class there. I have this great photography book that I'm buying, and it's just help someone if that's what you hear them saying, but help yourself also. If you go, oh, I wish I could, you can. Maybe not in the same capacity you could 40 years ago, but you can. Even if you do it on peripherally on the side, get involved with what's going to speak to your heart. And I think what Terry said in the beginning, I don't want to be mind driven. That's kind of it. I'd rather be heart driven. You can feel it. You can feel it when it's right.
Right.
Right? And so
It's so,
mind is necessary,
yes,
but not the leader.
you don't have to be, but something interesting happened yesterday. I walked out of my apartment. I was crossing the street. Some woman that was talking away looked at me and she talked and she said, "You have a purpose." I took that as a sign. Didn't
Oh,
know the woman. She just looked at me. I said, "You're right, I do." And crossed the street. So signs are there
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. And the universe is amenable. It is. And you don't have to meditate, but I'm hoping that this conversation sparked something in our listeners that have them thinking, gee, what can I pull up and do? How can I make a difference? And what a wonderful feeling to feel like you can make a difference in others' lives and even your own.
Yeah.
It will keep you alive and growing. My role model is Iris Apfel.
Oh, the big, yeah, yeah.
She died last year at 102. She
Mm.
was a spokesperson until she left this planet for eyeglasses, rugs. She was just the most amazing woman. She's my role model.
Yeah, yeah. I like that you say the universe is amenable because I don't know what you want to attribute it to, but if you put it out there, it usually comes back. It's like, but if you keep it held in and you don't tell anybody or you don't tell yourself, even admit to yourself, boy, I'd really like to do that. It's not going to happen. So yes, the universe is amenable and it's kind of up to you to put it out there. So I think what we're probably saying is, okay, a whole year, no, no, half a year has gone by. A whole year will go by so much more quickly than we expect. But how can you use all this to, one, you might want to set new intentions. If you go, you know what, I thought I wanted to I thought I wanted to volunteer here, but I really didn't. That wasn't the feeling I wanted to get. So maybe have a new intention, and that's a great way to figure out what you want. And volunteer somewhere, I always tell
Hmm.
when people go, "Oh, I think I want kids." Well, go babysit first. See if that's really true, Put it
Right,
out there and see.
right.
But so I think that's something that you can use. You can use all of this to finish out this year with a bang. And that doesn't mean with lots of money and
Right.
it means with a bang for you, whatever's going to make you feel like, wow, that was fantastic. So I think that's kind of what we're saying. We realize that there are barriers that get in the way and there are excuses, but I encourage you to use that as fodder for how can I turn this into an opportunity?
Mm,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would say just put a stake in the ground,
Mm.
really a
Mm.
metaphorical stake in the ground, and say, I'm going to claim this year. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to do something that really takes me out of my comfort zone, but boy, am I looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. And what is that? What that Facebook thing? This is fulfilled life and you're in your comfort zones here and you got and the fulfilled life is out here. It's got to be out of your comfort zone. And we spend so much time creating a comfort zone,
Mm,
It's like, oh, where
absolutely.
can I feel safe? Who can I hang out with that I won't feel? What group can I join? It's like you got that down. You know how to do that. You know how to create that comfort zone. Now what you got to do is create a discomfort zone. Where am I gonna? Oh, I just feel a little twingy. And if you don't succeed, so what? At least you tried.
Right.
That's kind of the important thing. So we've got a minute left. What
Mm.
wisdom do you have to share, Miss Yaffe?
Oh, goodness. Just take what we've said, boil it down to what might perk your interest, and try something.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out, it'll lead you to something else.
Hmm.
Just spend the next 6 months looking at you and what do you really want? And how might you start to achieve it?
And I'll take it even a little further. It's like spend the next 6 months if you've got goals, etc. But make yourself at the top. But make yourself
Mm,
top priority at all times, and your goals will get there because
right.
as Terry and I both said, starting your day is so important. And if you started taking care of yourself, then you can take care of everything else. That's our wisdom for July, and we will be back in August.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know it's frightening how quickly everything goes. But thank you, Terry. It's always a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Laurie. Have a great day, everybody,
Yes,
and
and we'll talk to you soon.
talk soon.